Welcome to Difficult Conversation Africa broadcast. I present to you the host, Yinka Olaito.
This is Difficult Conversation Africa podcast, a platform where we unpack issues that many are afraid to talk about. In this episode, we are looking at AI on air, the broadcast dilemma in the artificial age. As usual, you know that I will give you the background before I introduce my guest. From AI anchored to automated fact-checking and deepfakes, controversies, intelligence system is at the heart of today's information ecosystem, particularly broadcasting organization. Artificial intelligence is rapidly transforming the media landscape, reshaping how stories are told, how audience engage, and even how truth is declared. But with power comes responsibility. How do we balance innovation with integrity? This episode dives into the ethical dilemma at the crossroads of AI journalism and broadcasting. We will dive into insight on trust, misinformation, accountability, and the future of media in a world where machines share the mic. My guest today is a very renowned broadcast journalist, Mr. Kayode Ladeinde. He is the executive editor, TVC News, and we believe that he has a lot to share in this area. Welcome, Mr. Ladeinde Kayode. Thank you for coming.
It's my pleasure, Mr. Lighter. Good morning.
Good morning, sir, and thank you for all you do. I'm so impressed with your dedication to the profession over the years and your commitment to raise a new level of broadcasters with integrity and all. So we dive into the question straight. The issue of AI, anchor, deepfake, misinformation, and all of that. And my first question to you is, how is AI currently being used in newsroom and broadcasting? And what are the ethical red flags does that raise for you as a professional?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. And I think the question is quite apt. And this conversation is very, very germane at this point in time. Yes, like you know, like you referenced, TVC anchors, we took our time before we launched it. We asked all the questions. We faced some we faced some setbacks. There are some who believe that we are heading in a wrong direction. But having done all the necessary things, we carried the regulator along, in this case, the Nigerian Broadcasting Corporation, the NBC, and we're able to convince them. And that's part of the things I'm going to be sharing in this conversation. How is the threat? The threat, as far as we are concerned, is not as big as is being pronounced. You must have heard sayings like, for those who are ready to learn the use of AI, have nothing to fear. But for those who believe that broadcasting must stay where they want to stay, then they have a cause to be worried. What do I mean? I'll give you some funny examples that you might consider insignificant, but if you look at it deeply, you will agree with me that there is no cause for alarm. I remember in the 80s when we were watching football, we usually have what we call a referee, and and probably a one-lice man. The referee will make sure that he monitors everything. What he cannot see, he will bank on the lice man to help him. Later on, it increased to two lice men just to be sure that in times of, in quotes, using it advisedly, in times of regulation, this will be curtailed. Any things that is not seen will be seen by the two linesmen. Later on, the problem became more pronounced. We now have what we call goal line technology, where when you're not sure, the linesman could not be sure whether the ball had actually passed the line. Then goal line technology. This is this is IT being introduced into football. Now you have almost 3, 4 people who are manning the VAR, that is video assistant referees. So what am I saying? For those who are following the technology, for those who are following the innovation, there is more work. So not just one person handling a football match, we now have up to about 7 persons manning a football match. So someone will say, what is the correlation? The correlation is simple. With AI, there's going to be more people, like in TVC, more work, more technology, but we are having more results in terms of pace, in terms of reach, in terms of, at the end of the day, revenue. Now we have AI anchors for pidgin, where we don't have, a broadcast for pidgin. We have AI anchor for Yoruba, for Hausa, for Hebrew. With what? Good, maybe more workload for the video editors who are deploying AI. And at the end of the day, we are reaching more people. And you know, when you have more people online, it is more money for you. So, in by and large, I think I just want to encourage broadcasters that AI has come to stay, and the best thing to do is to embrace it and be good at it, and you have nothing to fear. Maybe later on we'll talk about the regulation and the fear that fake news is going to.
I like the level of optimism and excitement you create in your opening remark, because quite a lot of people are worried, because people are saying that maybe some news anchors will lose their job, and then there will be more demand for video editors than news anchor. But at least from what your opening remark, it has shown that as long as people keep improving on themselves, there'll be more jobs instead of loss of job. But beyond job and all of that, my second question is, can AI truly enhance truth telling, or does it risk eroding public trust in journalism?
Beautiful question, and of course, it can only come from a veteran like you. Now, in fairness, I'll give you practical examples. Now, what you see on TVC, AI news are done by humans, are verified by humans. What we do is that AI will supply us, just like the days of Google, that Google has given you information is not a case for you not to verify with different sources. Sometimes your source could be repertoire of knowledge. For example, AI may not be able to tell me so much about what is happening in Sokoto, where it's closer to me than for AI. So I am also going to check everything. For example, AI may not be able to pronounce a particular local name better than a human who will do it very well. But what AI will do is that AI will make it faster, AI will provide data, AI will provide information. For example, this topic, I had to check it up. What is AI saying? And guess what? AI was fair to also mention that there are challenges, there are negatives attached to this move. In other words, every now and then I'm checking AI. For example, I wanted to write my current profile and I put it on AI. Guess what AI did? AI gave me some things that I have done that I didn't know that, oh, this should be part of my profile. So it's an enhancement, it's an enhancer rather than a threat. So for us, the regulation is key. We must uphold those tenets of journalism. For example, transparency, you must tell the audience that this is AI generated. And if you are conversant with TVC, we'll say this is Olamide AI. We will not say this is the real Olamide. You understand? We must disclose with transparency that this is AI giving you information. It is left for you as a viewer, as the audience, or as a reader, even if it is newspaper, to understand that being transparent, you should look down on the content that's being churned out to you. It's just to let you know that, hey, this thing is being enhanced, this information is being fact checked, this information has gone through the crucibles, and it is giving you more data, more information that you ordinarily get if I have to look at the news time of gathering news and also producing it. I don't know whether you get what I'm trying to say. So AI has our job. AI has further enhanced the credibility of our job.
Yeah, yes, I quite understand what you're saying. but there's still fear about AI because AI relies on data that is input. Um, what if there are no enough inputs for AI to rely on? Because these are the fear of people. But like you said, since you have made the disclosure, it now depends on it is now the onus of the news consumer to be able to do their own. Does that mean that broadcasting stations are pushing more duties for fact checking on their consumer?
Okay, let me put it this way, sir. Just for a clearer context. Now,
Okay.
if I'm using AI and AI is not able to give me the particular information I'm using, the onus lies on
Okay,
me as
sir.
a professional not to go ahead and push that limited
That
information
information
that
out.
AI is not able to do. The good thing about AI is what I know and AI does not know. If I chat with AI, chat GPT, or other forms, is likely to put it into his own data and also learn from me, because sometimes I will have to prove to AI that I'm an authority in this area. I
Exactly.
recall AI
Exactly.
was pronouncing some words, and I explained to AI, and AI said, "Oh, thank you for this feedback. Trust me, when AI is going to inform some other persons, AI will do some research with what I have given it,
Exactly.
prove that what I'm saying is right." So, what I'm saying in
Mm.
essence is it is for journalists to understand that there are still rudiments, there are still rules to follow. When you
Mm.
see any information, we know how to detect. I believe that's another level of conversation. We know how to detect when it is AI.
Exactly.
You will lose your credibility when you don't tell people and when you don't declare that this is AI. We do not just tell people it's
Yeah.
AI, we also put a watermark that this content is AI. And we have a brand
Okay.
of credible stories. So people will only say that, okay, this AI that I'm watching is real, is not created from nothing, it's created from,
Mm-hmm.
factual.
Thank you for that clarification. Then my other question, you are a professional, you have been here, and you are a C-suite leader. My concern is, where should we draw the line between AI assistance and AI replacing human forces in broadcasting?
I think it will be ignorance on the part of any employer or managers to threaten people that AI is going to take their job. Rather, what they should do, I'll give you a practical example again, because I've gone around different stations. I remember telling my secretary, back in the days, you can't
Yeah.
do news without paper. Now, where I work now, you cannot even see a paper around us when news is being printed. So I told him, I told him as a secretary, I said, hey, young man, add to your skills. There will be a time nobody will need a secretary again. And he took my word for
Mm.
it. He learned production. And today he's a senior producer where he works. I could even mention the place.
Wow.
He works in Global Television. So, because now,
Wow.
if you are work in TVC, there will not be any job for him as a secretary, because we don't interact with
Exactly.
printing of paper. It's only when we want to do. The anchor is looking at the tab, is looking at his phone in case there is a mess up with the technology for the teleprompter. So it is incumbent on anyone to earn his skills. So for those who believe
Mm.
that, oh, no, 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 I'm not adding to what I know, I don't want to know anything anymore, then they may need to find another job. But largely, what employers
Mm.
and managers should do is to work at their pace, learn the little things. People are making technology easier, they're not making it complicated. Remember in those days when we want to type the
Exactly.
letter, punch the button, but now we are just touching it, we are swiping it, we are doing a whole lot
Exactly.
of things. Make it easier for all age categories. So I want to believe that the threat is unfounded. Yes, it exists, but they are very minimal.
Mm.
It is for
Mm.
those who have refused to
Okay.
stay, to move up, And if they choose not to move up, it's fine. There could be a better job. But trust me, the train has left the station and people need to earn their skills.
Now, let's talk about deepfakes and synthetic voices and on the rise. You understand what I mean? That deepfakes and synthetic voices are on the rise now, where people can clone your voice and all of that. What safeguard should media houses adopt to protect the truth in this age of deepfakes and synthetic voices?
Okay, for example, like we have stated and restated in this conversation, it depends. Every media house who is using AI should disclose and declare this is AI,
Yeah.
and AI does not. That's the stigma we have to clear. AI does not connote fake. AI does not connote, unrealistic stories. AI is real. AI can bring out good stories. AI can confirm stories. AI can also be used for fact checking. However, for those who are using deepfakes, for those who are using synthetic voices, there must be training and retraining, which I know your institute does very, very well, for how people can actually easily identify, deepfake and all those synthetic voices. The common sense way of checking things is there. For example, somebody cannot tell me the president is late. You remember the story of Buhari, and you quickly check the major cities. Nobody is scrolling it. Common sense should tell you that this is not true. Oh, the president is late and is in UK. BBC is not talking about it, and it happened in UK. So there are usually commonsensical things, but it's shocking that even graduates believe those cock and bull stories that, oh, we are having a clone president. To the extent that some even believe when the man truly died, that, oh, the man had died long ago. It is that sad. And I share your worry. It's so sad that what we consider as people being ignorant, some people see us as the ignorant ones, that we have been, but they use the word, we have been bought. So all the knowledgeable journalists were bought by the federal government, and therefore they cannot say when the president is dead. And so these are some of the extremes that people should not drop. There are commonsensical things that will not require me to put in my tools to fact check. I can tell from a distance. I won't even fall for the clickbait, to pick up such stories. So the indices are still there, the normal measures are still there, the confirming from the source is still there. Everything you can use to do your fact checking is still there. Somebody tells me Trump has done this, I can easily go on the internet and check on Google without even using AI. I can quickly go on CNN and check it on my button. So we should not forget what we know. It is always going to work. It is the residual knowledge, it is the repertoire of what we have learned over the years, and they are not moribund. They are not obsolete. They are still very relevant. What AI will do is to make it faster for us rather than being retrogressive.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Mr. Ladeinde. This question borders on or something around what you have answered. Who should be blamed or who should be held accountable when AI systems spread misinformation? Because yes, we say that AI cannot make mistakes, but it's based on data that it collects that is given out. And I've seen. You remember? Was it the last? Was it the African Cup of Nations? And that was not AI problem, where a reporter in one of the maybe Voice of Nigeria or something at the end of first half, he already came out with a news that Nigeria lost to something something. I'm sure you read that story, and even before the end of the, and people were saying that maybe it was AI. So who should take the blame? Who should be accountable when AI, in this case, system spread misinformation, the developer, the broadcaster, or the algorithm itself?
Okay, Mr. Lighto, let me just put it on record for those who will be viewing this. This is not a question and answer conversation. It's actually a conversation. And inside your question, you have elaborately answered it. I even met the DG of VO, and he even told me deeper things beyond what people saw. It was purely a human error. It
Okay.
was purely, in fact, maybe I should give you this privilege info. Part of the things he said is that the man he wasn't expecting Nigeria to win. There was a bit of sentiment that he put into that story. So is the lowest level of professionalism, is the crass application of our job. There's absolutely. Do you know that, Mr. Laito? I'm sure you know that even if Nigeria is leading by 7 goals to 0 and it's 1 minute to the match, the best a journalist should do is that Nigeria is leading by 7 goals to 0. Nigeria has not won the game.
Exactly.
Your
Exactly.
language has to be accurate. Your language doesn't have to be ambiguous. You can only say
Exactly.
until the referee blows the final whistle and you say the final score. That is professionalism. This is somebody who broke the news before
Exactly.
he probably went to sleep, and the last thing he saw was that Nigeria was trailing by 2-0. How was there's absolutely nothing wrong with AI. It is what you garbage in that you garbage out. It is what he inserted into the system
Exactly.
that was broadcast. And like the DG told me, he said, "Who told you people are not watching you? Just make a mistake. That's when you will know
Mm.
how powerful information can fly." Maybe before
That's true.
maybe, maybe they told him that nobody listens to Voice of Nigeria. Nobody reads what is on their website. That error
Exactly. I think so.
realized that you have to be extremely extra careful before you turn out any information.
Yeah, with the knowledge of AI, I think that everybody need to update their skill, and broadcasters, journalists also need to. Now, how can journalists and broadcasters build AI literacy to stay ahead of manipulative risks?
Okay, so number one, they can also train themselves. In this age where some companies don't prioritize training, please help yourself. I know there are a lot of adverts online telling you they can train you depending on your age and all those things. As much as I wouldn't discourage you from doing that, but be more thorough, ask more professional, ask some of your colleagues who have gathered knowledge on it to also learn it. Um, it is something that has come to stay. Let's not debate it. Let's not fight it. Let's
Mm.
embrace it. And another thing that is also key is that do not drop all those residual knowledge you have gained, whether it is now analog, whatever name they call it, is still very important. It will help you, it will guide you. There are a lot of Gen Zs, there are a lot of young people who want to believe AI more than the residual knowledge we have. But we have been able to let them know that, hey, the tenets and the professional ethics are still very, very significant. Some of them have had their fingers burnt. Some of them have made those mistakes, like you're trying to, highlight in this conversation. But it is important that they must understand that gather the experience, increase knowledge, do the best you can. IT is one of the highest paying profession nowadays. And so if you have it in
Mm.
journalism, it is also important for you. Never feel threatened. Never feel threatened. If an organization feels you don't know how to use AI, trust me, if another organization grabs you and see your knowledge, that same organization that rejected you will have to pay you something bigger to have you back. So
Get
it
you
is for
back.
your own,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it is for your own advantage to gather skills. It is for your own advantage to own your skills. You have nothing, absolutely nothing to lose by adding to what you know.
Yeah, let's now come back to the initial statement you made before your organization introduced the AI anchor. And I would like you to explain to our viewers what are the ethical guardrails that must exist before AI can take the mic. I know that you have experimented. I know you said that you had to talk with, you had to have it because you had a discussion with the regulatory authority and some of the things that you have to do to be able to go ahead with that. So, can you please help our listener to unpack some of the ethical trails that a broadcast as a broadcasting station or media organization has to pass through before they can just, or can they just introduce AI anchor like that?
So thank you so much, sir. Just for record, for now, our AI is only going online. The only thing we do on the linear channel is that we can advertise people and tell them to hook up with us on our online platform to watch our AI anchors. So
Okay.
that's an understanding we have with NBC now, because they are yet to, give us that liberty to start running AI on our linear channel. Number two, one of the things that we were able to establish to them is that the content on our AI channel is still being supervised, follow all the protocols of news gathering like we have on our linear channel.
Mm.
By the way, it is even our linear channel
Okay.
that are producing everything we have. Do you understand, sir? So we
Yes,
follow
sir.
that. We are sure that these things are being used and supervised and executed by the human who are professionals. What do I mean? If you watch our AI channel now, you will see that the same story you see there, you probably see it faster and in a more
Yeah.
unique way on our AI channel. So we have also made it clear to them that for all our content, we will introduce that this is AI. So in our captions, we also put
Okay.
AI anchor. So we are very clear to
Okay.
distinguish the real reality and the AI reality. So these are things that are clear. When you go to our channel, you will not mix it up. You will see AI before
Okay.
every introduction. And we also try to also put a watermark in case you are not patient to look at the AI caption. You will see watermark of to be sure that this content is not being stolen by those who will now impose another voice, which is what we've been seeing on deepfake. They will now impose a different
Exactly.
content and let the lips sync with the words that they are doing, and they will churn out fake news.
Mm.
But in our own case, we watermark the content so that our AI
Mm.
anchors are not exposed to that uh, uh, um, risk associated with fake news. So these are some of the steps that we
Okay.
spelled out to the regulator, and the regulator was able to see all our tests running. And may I put it that we are no longer test running, we are actually running it daily. We do not miss our news every day on AI channel.
I'm so happy that your station is so meticulous about this, and that is leadership, and that is authenticity, and that is innovation that you are championing. Kudos to you and your team for that, and for also leading that campaign, that project. That look, it is still possible, and we are still following the law. So the next thing, I'm so particular about the voices of the marginalized, so much. Now, with the AI thing coming up, how can we keep marginalized voices from being drawn out by machine-driven medias?
Okay, so I think people should just know that their voices won't be marginalized, especially if they are good at what they do. Whether you like
Mm.
it or not, it's just an
I like
extension
that
of the
clause. If
market.
they are good at what they are doing.
Exactly. It's an extension of the market. There are some who will not, as a traditional audience, who will never embrace AI. Pardon me to use some religious examples. There are some, no matter what, they will still want to hold their hard copy Bible to listen to the pastor. They will not want to use the Bible
Exactly.
on their phone. There are some who will say it is not Old King James Bible. I don't want to read any new version. So there is market for everyone. What is important is somebody should
Okay.
not feel marginalized. Somebody should not feel sidelined. There is an audience for you. If you are interested in owning your skills, that's fine. Let the technology spread what is authentic about you, supervised and managed by a reputable media like TVC. Then you only have more audience rather than feeling sidelined or bashed. Pardon my language. So it is about the
Yeah,
fact
that's true.
that it has more technology will come. AI will become a thing of the past, maybe in 10 years' time. So why don't you maximize what AI is telling you now? I remember some religious bodies who didn't embrace.
Now, let's look at regulation. I think that's also important. You started a conversation around that, and you say, regulation. Which one will you prefer, government regulation or self-censorship? And how will it affect performance of AI in the media newsroom?
I think both in the sense that there is SCC who is also looking at the technology part, and there is NBC who is looking at the linear channel part. And it's important that regulator is very key. There is no advanced economy, there's no advanced country
Okay.
who does not also rely on regulation. I believe strongly in regulation. Self-censorship, in my reality, is that people hardly self-censor themselves if they don't know that there's a consequence for their action. People usually like to suppress and dominate and also oppress others if there is no consequence which is dependent on regulation. It's just like lifestyle. Some people can believe that I can block this road and make sure nobody goes out of this place. But there is a government, there is a regulator who will tell this person is wrong. So before you tell me that, oh, people should self-regulate themselves, please, if there are no standard rules and regulation that everybody must abide by, trust me, self-regulation will become evasive, will become delusional. We may not even be able to articulate it and agree that this is even self-regulation. It may just be some kind of idiosyncrasy of that particular person, and we call it self-regulation. So self-regulation is good, but it must be subservient to the regulators'
To the government
regulation, if you
regulation.
get my.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Ladeinde. Just in 10 years, one word. What do you see? AI newsroom dominated by AI anchor and supervised by human being, or do you think that human anchor will still be more effective than the AI anchor?
I believe that human anchor will still be more effective, and it's only a matter of time. AI will become history. Let's embrace it. Let's not wait for it to go, because by the time it's going, you may have lost so many things. And to catch up, you might require knowledge that you should have garnered from AI's tenure or regime.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ladeinde Kayode. I really appreciate the insights. As a C-level newsroom leader, this is huge. And thank you for your opinions. Thank you for the insight you have shared. Thank you for the case study that you have drawn from your own organization, TVC News, and what you are doing. And I'm particularly happy with the fact that you carry the regulator along. It is not just something that you are just doing because you felt like doing it. I'm happy also that in your blend of government regulation and self-regulation, the explanation you gave, people don't even pay much attention when they do know there are no stringent consequences for doing certain things. And I think that we should not be afraid of government regulation as long as it is not used to the disadvantage of the industry. Thank you again, Mr. Kayode Ladeinde, for this time that you have shared with us. I hope that we can always come back again and again. And to our listener, thank you for listening to this episode. It has been AI and Mike. How do we blend the two and the challenges that it has created? Interestingly, I guess I'll be able to help us to see that it will be getting better, not getting worse. And thank you very much for listening. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and to follow us on our podcast website, www.difficultconversationafrica.org. Have a good day.
Thank you for listening to this episode. For inquiry, please send an email to info@difficultconversationafrica.org. Telephone 0809 3160 591. Please follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Difficult Conversation Africa. See you soon.